Hey guys. And he was kind of beating all around the bush, and he said the reason was because really the person he has back home is his spin-dom, and that she finally, and I was like, what? That's a thing?
But there's applying it, and then there's the actual action.
Right.
Like when you discipline a child. You tell
Keep going. And then when we do it, you gotta say, scissor me, daddy, like that. All right?
No, you know.
This is not the fucking thing to do. Like,
I think that's normal.
I got you, like, buddy.
I
can't help her.
Minutes later, I see a pizza slide under my door. No contact. Like, I'm good.
You see the pizza slide under the door with the hands, and your fucking hands slam down on top of it and grab his.
We have an initial physical type of what we like to see initially, because our eye is always drawn to something. I can see a tall guy, big and broad shoulders, and I'm like, ooh, nice. But if he talks to me, and I'm be like, maybe not. Okay, so Mike, until we get the rest of the guys in, do you want to start with your first question for us ladies? First of all, are you drinking a Capri Sun?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. First things first, what is happening?
all right. I'm here. I sound good, everything, no crazy noises in my background.
No.
All right, just making sure. Listen, I gotta do all my checks and stuff. Anyway, welcome to the We Got Questions podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Mike Hennessy. I am joined by, yes, I'm more on point this time, so she ain't telling me to point the other way, so that's good.
No.
Yep. Joined by the basic one here, and back on another Monday, trying to get. Who is this? Nat, what up, Nat? It's Nat Zary. Every Monday at 7 p.m. and I appreciate you, Nat. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, let's talk about how's your week been? How's all the stuff been for you? You good? Life is grand.
Listen, yes, I would be lying if I said life isn't always lifing. Life is always coming at us. But for the most part, I'm actually pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
Aw, thanks, Nat. How nice of you.
I love it. I'm glad that at least Mondays is like a day where everybody feels like they can come back, sit back, chill, just hang out with us, all the good fun things. But we also want to throw in there Happy Cinco de Mayo. Everybody over there getting their drinks on all the other good stuff, and feeling spicy. I feel a little spicy with this one. Me not made a drink, so.
Okay, and you're actually drinking it, so that's good.
Quiet you. Anyway, I know everybody talk trash about me drinking and stuff like that. I'm not a drinker. I'm not heavy on the drinking, but it's all good. But Happy Cinco de Mayo. B for Barkis' birthday passed. Yeah, I'm shouting him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was their birthday?
Marcus is the 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah. So if y'all see anybody that follows Marcus and you watch this podcast, his birthday is not January 16th. His birthday is not all these other days or whatever the case is. His birthday is May 3rd. Oh, you don't know. Marcus on Facebook has a different birthday every couple months.
I was just about to say, why does their birthday have different dates?
Yeah. No more of that big guy. No more of that. Yeah, happy belated. Your birthday coming up soon. Hey.
It is. In like 9 more days, May 14th. That's my birthday.
May 14th. Goddamn Tarsus in the building.
Yes.
No, nothing wrong with Tarsus, but it's just it's Tarsus season. It's that time of the year. So
that it is.
Yeah. Almost over. Can't wait. But anyway, no, I'm playing. I'm playing.
I feel like it just started. Like literally
this shit just literally just started. I think we in the second quarter. We're in the second quarter.
If you say so.
You know, it says
May
his
14th is your son's birthday? Nice.
shouts out to you, baby Cairo.
Yay. Birthday twin. Thank
Yeah,
you, Nat.
3 years.
Appreciate it.
Hold on, let me see. I'm just trying to get all the peoples in here now so we can have this conversation. So, um, trying to just brushing up on me. Um, as far as me, everything has been
Yeah.
going
What
great.
about you?
Yeah, everything's been going great. Everything's pretty good. Got a lot of rest last week. Well, no, I worked last week. I did. I went to sleep properly last week. I think that's the biggest part. I haven't been getting proper sleep, and then I started realizing I don't like the 6 and 2, but I get more sleep because I was
Wait, so
5 to 1:30 before. I was 5 a.m. to
oh,
1:30,
okay.
and now I'm 6 to 2:30. So I'm actually getting more sleep now.
What do you think is the difference? Why do you think you're getting more sleep now with the
No
hour
clue.
difference?
I don't know. It feels like a lifetime. You know, feels like a lifetime. Like with the sleeping or something like I get more sleep now than I've ever gotten. Like I don't know why. I feel like I do. Mm, that
Well,
one
I
hour,
mean, hey,
a big
at
ass
least you're getting
difference.
some sleep.
Yeah, yeah. At least I'm getting something. So I'm getting something. But all right. So let's get to our topic today. Our topic today is gotta get to it. Um, and this is one of basics one. How do you handle past traumas and insecurities in relationships? Basically, you want to kind of set it off, just kind of let people know what we're going at with this one.
Absolutely. So, this topic actually was inspired by a TikTok that I was sent, and a young lady was basically saying, and we're not saying that this is right or wrong, because one thing before we get started, nothing that we are saying here is to tell anybody how to do anything, but just to explore how other people do it and what that looks like for everybody, because we know we all experience things differently. But in this particular TikTok that was sent to me, she was basically saying that if we are currently experiencing insecurities and lack of confidence within our relationships due to past traumas, that it's our fault
Yeah.
because we are continuing to carry on and perpetuate those traumas and bring them into our new relationships. And if we don't get a handle on it, that those other people aren't there anymore. They're not there. And if we don't actively try to get a handle on it, then it's our fault if we're bringing it into this new relationship. And if we don't actively choose to try to work on it, acknowledge it, and change it. But if we keep harboring on those things, once we get into new relationships, then it's, if anything, if it's the downfall of a relationship, it's partially our fault too, because we were continuing to perpetuate it and let it fester.
Yeah.
So that led me to ask the question, like, well, how do other people handle trauma and insecurities as they move through life from one relation to another relationship? And are we actively doing what it takes to heal? Like we all say, like when we get out of a relationship, we're taking this time to heal. Like, are we actually taking the time to heal? And if we are not fully healed, are we still carrying those things onto new relationships? And what does that look like? And are we able to acknowledge it? And how do we let those things affect your new relationship and your relationship with your partner? So yeah, that's where that question kind of came from for me. Just kind of curious. I'm aware. I think I'm trying to be more self-aware of that in these latter years of my life, and so I'm always curious to how that translates with other people.
Yeah. So, as far as like me with that process, like as far as like moving from relationship to the next with the trauma side of things, I took some time to think about it, and I had to think of like, okay, so when you're going into your next relationship, what are you bringing with you? Are you are you saying you leave stuff alone? or are you just putting it inside of a bag for now, putting it some away for a quick second and seeing if it will come, and trying to store it away, like
Yeah.
as if you just, it's almost like, did I handle it or did I ignore it?
Yeah.
Like, so I would say the common thing that was moving throughout my relationships were just that fear of it ending, I guess, like, or me getting so deep into it and then something happening and then just ending, and it made me press a panic button real quick. Like, so it was like taking that and bringing it over to my next relationship instead of just kind of like handling it from there and seeing where
Yeah.
you go, seeing how you move, seeing this, seeing that. I never did that. I never actually took the time to, at the times, didn't sit back and just try to study myself and try
Yeah.
to really learn on why I do a particular thing. I felt as though, okay, this person isn't this person, so I should be fine.
Yeah.
I should be able to move on, no issues, no problems. And I think that was my mistake. Is thinking that I
Yeah.
had the ability to do that, and I really probably didn't.
I mean, I honestly believe that even with the best intentions,
Yeah.
we all bring a little knapsack bag in of trauma. Like we all bring our own little, like, little backpack in of our own little personal traumas along with us. It is, I almost feel like impossible to say that when those things happen, we don't, to some degree, always carry them along with us. Because you have to think, like, the things that happen in our lives are the things that shape us and mold us and make us who we are. And without those things happening, then we don't actually end up being the person that we are currently, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way to, like, say I'm completely dispelled of these things and these things have gone away. I think it's just how you manage it. So, like, you can't be you. I don't think it's ever fair for you to say, like, to yourself, like, maybe I didn't work on this, and maybe you didn't work on it, right? But
Right.
you can't be too hard on yourself for having things that you might potentially still be carrying with you. I think it's more so, honestly, how you handle them and how you let them affect whatever your current situation is. That's really like the main issue. It's not like, did I get rid of it? You know what I mean? It's more like, how am I letting this affect my day-to-day from this day forward? What am I doing to navigate through those things?
Right.
Saying something about those hours between 3 and 5 hit. Oh, wait, I think she
This
was
is from earlier. Yeah, this is from
okay,
earlier. I was mentioning something.
All right, I missed that.
So kind of feeding off, well, piggybacking off of what you're saying, that's just like the older processes of what I was doing going into the relationships. Now, as I'm where I'm at now, I can feel my calmness. I can feel it isn't really there like there was before. And you kind of know what it looks like. You know how it, and then it's almost like this ain't nothing towards anything. It just, you have to vision the previous person and what you went through with them to be able to not do it again. It's not like the trauma is linked to the person. So you can, if you were in that relationship, you can kind of say, okay, this happened then or there. So I remember this particular event and this is what I don't want to do anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I think not only is it linked to a person, but it can also be linked to a situation or a feeling or an action, which is what can help, is what could be a catalyst for dredging it back up. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily mean that person has to be present. It can be something that feels familiar. It could be that triggers you and that causes you to recall that trauma and then have a trauma response. So even though that person and listen, to some degree, absolutely what you're saying, like that person is not there anymore. You have to be able to move past it. But I think the issue is like, I think that, at least for me, because and we can speak on this later, but at least for me, it's never been whether or not that person was present. It has been instances or scenarios that felt somewhat familiar, or that might look in the beginning like it could potentially be, even remotely similar to something that I felt before, that triggers the trauma response. Hey, Mike, how are you? We got a little hello from Mike.
Yo, Mike, what's going on? Welcome in, good brother. Welcome in.
Hello.
So, I mean, there's a lot of key pieces of that to think about, because at the end of the day, you have to really, it's just things that I just want to know, make sure that I always am working on, even going into deeper into the future.
Absolutely.
And let me say, Milan says, yes, and sometimes you don't know the trauma is even there until it gets randomly triggered. Yeah, that's the part.
100%. 100%. Right. It could be a thing that you didn't even recognize that you do, or that you didn't even recognize hurt you so deeply until you do the work, right? Yeah. You just know that there's so many instances when you can be having a trauma response and you don't even know that you're having a trauma response until you take a step back and say, oh, wait a minute, this is because of this.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I was mentioning.
I've been doing this unhealthy thing for such a long time.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for such a long time, just thinking, oh, it's just how I am.
Right.
But it's actually a response to something else.
Right.
That has happened in my life. And because of that, I've altered myself to do this in response to what happened. And I've just been carrying on through life doing it. And then you don't know, something might trigger it. And you're like, oh, whoa, like, where is this? Like, it might even take somebody calling you out, being like, why? This isn't even like you. Why are you reacting this way?
Right. And you know what? And the biggest thing is just your friends, the ones that pick up on it quick. More than your family, sometimes more than your friends and your significant other, because I always consider, like, if you got a significant other, that should be a friend on top of being your person, like, so they pick it up quick, and they'll see the change in you quick. So, like, sometimes, I'm gonna tell you this now, for the most part, if I get quiet and I get too quiet, most of the people will say, ask me, Mike, you good? You have asked me, am I okay? Like, it has happened when you don't see me in my element.
Yeah,
people will question it. So that's something that you pay attention to, when you kind of work towards, you kind of like look at it and say, all right, should I continue to have this always happen? That's why I'm probably big on, like, we have our ways of how we cope. We have our ways how we do things. But, like, especially when it comes to when you're in a relationship, one of the things that I did too much of being in a relationship is always trying to secure something, because I didn't like somebody being frustrated or being mad too long, or whatever the case is. And I had to treat the situation like, oh, it's my fault, is this, is that. Because, like, nah, it ain't somebody else's fault. Sometimes, I mean, it ain't your fault. It's just that some people need their process and time to literally get their brain together, get their mind together, whatever the case is. And you just got to be there for them in the best possible way. So my traumas in the past has led to, seeing, okay, somebody is always silent. I'm automatically going to take responsibility and feel like it's on me. I did that. I feel like, if I could really pinpoint something, me and my daughter's mom probably did so much damage to each other. Okay, no problem. See you later, Barry. Thank you for coming in. Hold up. Sorry. One of my homies is asking something. So, what was I saying? No, like, one of me and my daughter's mom had did so much damage to each other. Like, we didn't even, I don't think we realized what we'd done. So it was like, it's almost like I created a problem. She created a problem. My traumas have bounced to every person, but it stems from that was the seed was planted. She was my longest relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
had issues with it, but I would never consider them to be relationships. That produced a child out of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We lived together. We did everything together at one point. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to look at where the seed was planted, and that's how far back I had to go and start pinpointing things um, that was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew, like, oh shit, that's me. I created this monster. I can't get mad at the monster because I helped create it. As much as we beef or we sometimes or do whatever we do, that's probably the person I have the most understanding with because we both went through the same things. She just do it way different than I do.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to watch that's a reminder that the trauma exists. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
we our go to our we have our issues. That's the reminder that the trauma still exists. That
Mm-hmm.
this is where it stems from. So
Yeah.
I have to now sit back and really process that and really put that work in and say, okay, what I don't want anybody to feel like is I'm treating them anything like what happened to me in the past.
Mm.
That's the biggest part.
Yeah. Before we go forward, there's like 9 of you guys in here. If you haven't already said hello, please make sure to let us know you're here. Hi, Tony. How are you? If you guys have not already said hello, like Tony and Nat and Milan and Balbazar, please say hello.
Mike,
Let us know you're here.
yeah,
Oh, and Mike, right? And Mike's here. Got that.
he's about to
Please
cuss me
take a
out.
moment to say hello to us and let us know that you're here. And tell a friend,
That fast.
share it out, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Share it to someone,
Yes.
friend to tell a friend. I'm sure this is a conversation that everybody can relate to. So,
In some type of way. And then
yes.
mind you also, Basic said it earlier, um we're not speaking in the terms of trying to make it like we're targeting or or trying to pull out a trigger or something like that. We
No.
do. I think we had to understand like conversations like this is going to be triggering. That's the nature of the beast. Everybody's stuff is different, you know. Like
Mm-hmm.
we speak about it because there are people who probably want to hear it, and that's the responsibility that we have towards the show and towards our content. As long as we letting you know, like, hey, this is not our job to try to hurt you. We're not trying to do that at all. Um, in advance, you know, I apologize if it does hurt someone's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. I was talking
What
over
up,
you.
G? No. Go ahead. Get your thing. I'm good.
The point of our conversations is hopefully for some self-discovery, which is the
Mhm.
beautiful part of this. Like, if as we're talking about it, and we hope that you guys will chime in with your own personal input as well, because that also helps us to learn. Well, we're not just bouncing ideas off of one another. Sometimes hearing other people's perspectives will allow you to um be introspective with yourself and be
Right.
reflective. Like, you can think, well, maybe this does apply to me. And sometimes you can stumble upon something that you may not have thought of before that someone else might spark in conversation. And so this is never like an attempt to try to teach anyone to do anything or how to do anything. It's really just um
Got you,
discussion
bro.
that leads to like discovery, and that leads to like being more understanding of not only yourself but the way other people work and the way we all navigate through life,
Mm,
because we all have
yeah,
dealt with things like this.
that's facts. Yo, Rel, what's going on, bro? It's my guy.
Hello.
That's my coworker right there. What's going on with you, good brother? Yeah, he not in my area no more. You know, I miss you, my bro. But um, yeah, me and him sometimes we had conversations like this, and then, you know, he's very understanding of what we're talking about and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So um trying to bring something another thing in another element in here. This conversation is human conversation. This is people conversation. This is not who you are as a woman, who you are as a man, or anything else. It's just a human based conversation. How do you feel as a person, as an individual who is growing in life? That's how we look at it. You know, whatever your walk is in life, how do you view these things that goes forward with you in your life? Um, and this is the beauty of it, is that we should be able to sit back and have the conversations and learn from each other. I am not an expert up here. Y'all might see us, but we're not the experts. We're just having the conversation and create the space for people to talk in it. You know what I mean? That's what we do. What the hell was that?
What?
I just heard this loud doom. But anyway, like something dropped and fell in
Oh,
my bag.
here.
That probably is me. But that's all. I'll throw that out there, and we'll continue on with some stuff. Anything else you want to throw in there? Because I was thinking about something too. When it came to that, I was actually going to ask, like, when did you notice the insecurities and the traumas that was. I was a mic drop, yeah, right. When did you notice the insecurities and everything? Do you remember when it showed up, and do you remember who it was? You don't have to mention a name or whatever, but can you remember where you, like, you know how, like, the trauma keeps going on, like I was telling you before. Let me make the point first for myself, and then I'll see if
Yeah.
you'll follow. So I'm treating everybody the same. I get into a situation, I'm ready to bail. I'm like, man, this ain't working. Like, I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting mad. I'm getting hyped up. And the emotions is running because you want to be with the person, and I kept kind of doing that into other relationships. And I got to a point where I stopped, and I can remember the person that I stopped it with,
Mm.
and it changed. Then I started going more into the process of moving forward with things as opposed to doing the same things over and over again. Because
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, I'm a good dude. I'm this. I'm that. Why don't nobody this? Why nobody that? And
Mm-hmm.
I realized things about myself. Like, do you remember when that happened?
I probably would say that it probably wasn't until like these past couple of years I've been really trying to do like some real self work with myself and trying to be more self aware. And I think even to this day, like right now, I'm still discovering things that I probably didn't always recognize immediately. I've always tried to like be introspective and say, well, Raquel, why do you handle this like this? Or why is this the reaction that you give when certain situations arrive? And some of it took like some really deep diving, like some real, like thinking about the first time like I felt a certain way, or the first time something
Mhm.
made me feel that way. And I wish I could say it was like one thing, but it's not. Like I feel like what I've recognized over time
I'm gonna start your comment.
is that there's probably lots of things that have sat and bubbled under the surface that I didn't really acknowledge at first.
Hmm.
Like Milan was saying earlier, sometimes it takes something to trigger that before you recognize it. Even in my current relationship, I realized that that I was unlearning unhealthy behaviors and learning healthy ways to love that I didn't even realize was an issue before. My partner could tell me that he needed something from me that seemed so simple and basic, right? It seemed so easy to ask
No
for.
pun
And
intended. No pun
right, no pun
intended.
intended. It seemed like such an easy ask. And even I was asking myself, well, why can't I just do like this simple, like this is a very simple thing that he's asking for, but I'm struggling with it. And a lot of it had to do with self-confidence in myself. And it had to do with not the fact that I had, and I told him this, that I had in a lot of past relationships put myself in a position to lessen myself and to dim myself down in order to keep the peace. And what that made me do was unintentionally sort of walk on eggshells instead of love very boldly. A lot of times it made me instead love in a very cautious way and always very
So you
carefully
had survival tactics.
very carefully trying to
Yeah.
like express love, but in a very careful, cautious way, to not ruffle any feathers, to not be too much, to not seemed like I was coming off too strong, to not make my partner feel uncomfortable. And recognizing, after thinking about it, because I had been made to feel that I had to do all those things, I was just carrying it on as this relationship, and didn't even recognize that what I thought was good and safe, because it felt good, like it felt safe to me, for me to love in a very cautious way, because it wasn't going to ruffle anything. It took hearing someone say, it feels like you're not confident enough in who we are to one another, because you it's almost like you're walking on eggshells. And I didn't even realize that I was doing it. And it made me, I have to be very cautious about, or not cautious, but conscious of feeling secure and safe enough to love in a big way, and to show love in a big way. And knowing that I'm safe in this relationship, and I don't have to pull back. I don't have to lessen myself. I don't have to make myself smaller. I don't have to only give a little bit, because I don't want to overdo it. You know, if he wants all of it, then I'm going to give him all of it. And I shouldn't have to, I shouldn't be trying to like restrict it because he's not asking me to. But I will say, like, over time, there's been like gradual things that I've noticed that I do, and having to ask myself, why is this your reaction? Like, I for a long time was a very guarded person, and I'm still to a degree very guarded. And I realized that there was a time when I would say, if a person made me feel hurt, I'm just gonna walk away. We don't have to talk about it. Like I was very, very firm on that. Like, if a person were to hurt me, I'm just gonna walk away. We don't have to talk about anything. We're good. I don't want to hash it out. I don't want to do any of that. And recognizing that my wanting to just walk away before it got deep was a lot about a trauma response. It was a lot about protecting myself. It was a lot about not putting myself out there for fear of getting hurt even worse. Like, if I can just exit quickly and not even make this a thing, that at the first sign of like any kind of friction, if I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna go. If you make me feel away, I'm just gonna leave. We don't have to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just out. You know what I mean? I was doing that for a long time. Like, I'm out of here. Like, I don't want to talk about it. We don't have to discuss anything. You made me feel away, and I'm just gonna, that's it. And I've learned that was like, I had built a wall. Like, I had built, I was doing this thing where if I wanted to cry, I would hold it in almost like where I couldn't, like my chest would hurt. Like, I'm crying. We're not doing this. I'm gonna just walk away. We don't have to ever talk about it. I don't have to ever talk to you about it. We don't have to ever deal with this. I'm just gonna leave, because I'm not going to allow you to continue to hurt me. And I had to recognize that wasn't the healthiest way, but it was something that I had done to protect myself from further hurt and from feeling disappointed. And what I was doing was just shutting down all my emotions in the process. And now having a partner who says, you don't get to just walk away from this. We have to talk about it. I feel that something's bothering you. We have to talk about it. If something's bothering you, I want you to tell me what it is so we can talk about it. Like, if I've done something, I want you to tell, and vice versa. If he feels that I've done something, to be able to talk to me about it. And we to discuss it through healthily. Yeah. When in the past, my response probably would have been, at the first sign of like, oh, my feelings have been hurt, yeah, probably means you're going to hurt me more, and I'm just going to go.
So, no.
So it's been a process. Like, it's not just one thing. There's a lot. I can say that I've had some really unhealthy relationships, and I've been treated unkindly by people a lot. And as a result of that, I altered myself to what I thought would help protect me in future relationships and what I thought would make it better or make it safe. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just doing it. You know, it was almost like autopilot. You just doing things to keep yourself protected. That whole thing about me like making myself smaller, God, I didn't even realize that until recently that I was doing that. That I literally had no clue. I thought that I was loving properly. and I didn't realize that I this whole time I have been timidly tiptoeing into relationships and carefully trying to like cautiously love a person so that I don't make them feel like I'm too much. Like that blew my mind when I realized it. And it was all because people had made me feel like I had to.
Oh, okay. So, and the same, we exist in that same space
Mm-hmm.
as far as that. Um, I'm opposite as far as people treat me as such. I think, excuse me, most people who know how to manipulate a situation or know how to do something will push at that and say, okay, I'm gonna do this because I can get this out of this person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we do exist in that same realm as far as tiptoeing. I have tiptoed into relationships just because I like the person
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to be with the person. And I'm like, all right. And maybe as a person that I mentally, I think everybody, I don't know if everybody do that, but sometimes you still don't feel like you get the person that you kind of want, but you like, oh shit, I like this person and they're giving me attention. So you kind of enter it and almost like you kind of push yourself to the side and you don't want to, you try not to be you almost as full as
Mm-hmm.
much as you possibly can. So we have similarities with that big time. Like I have been in relationships or not even relationships, but just sometimes that particular type of situation where it's like that's what was triggering that anxiety that existed within me back then.
Mm.
That level of it that existed within me. I handle anxiety different. I actually use it differently. I use that same thing that I have a problem with, and I use it different. But that used to trigger it heavy. Like when I felt like things are going to go bad, we're going to go south. It just happened.
Mm.
Just like and I wanted to get away from it. I was like, if this ain't this, this ain't that, and I'm getting out of it. Mm, yeah, it sucks. It really do.
Yeah.
But the person that you have now, that's the strength that you needed, or that you're learning. You're learning
Yeah.
because I think that's still a process. Like, of course, you possibly are accepting of it, but that's still a process because that's brand new. That's a brand new thing. And a person I know that you are, and the what 3 or 4 years that we almost know each other now,
Mm-hmm.
I've realized you have always been, um, how can I say it? You've always been your own leader. You never really like needed someone to try to, put you in this type of position because you always felt like you had it handled.
Mm.
So maybe now that a person is coming in and saying, no, I'm gonna do this with you.
Mm.
You don't have to do this by yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you're telling me no, it just can't be a no
Yeah.
because I have to be here for you. As much
Mm-hmm.
spaces that say, hey, everybody want to give each other. No, you might have to be there sometimes.
Yeah.
You know. We have a lot of comments, and I want to
Yeah.
get to
Probably should
everybody.
have
Thank
stopped one.
y'all,
You want to go back to the
new.
one? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going right to Natty. Everybody who has came in, if y'all have not liked it, I really am asking y'all this: like this live, share it out to somebody who can like benefit from this conversation, or even want to just hear this conversation to chime in with it. Friend, enemy, whatever, send it to them because everybody needs a message in their life. Those who just sitting back watching, I thank y'all for just sitting there watching. If y'all want to say hi, say hi. If y'all don't, sit and chill. Like, we love it all. So, just like it, share it out. If you ain't subscribed to us, go ahead and press that subscribe button. And if anybody want to come up, hey, send me the message, send basically the message if y'all have our stuff, and we'll, bring it up. But just know what type of show we got. If this your first time on here, you gotta understand what type of show we got. We don't do the certain things. So if you say it, it's gonna get corrected. Just like y'all know. So Natty first. After my kid's father, I was single for 3 years, and when I started dating again, I didn't realize there was so much trauma I was bringing with me until I met one guy who called me out on it. Okay. Chelsea says Natty's sane, but he wasn't shit either. Natty said he and I didn't work out, but it definitely called for some self-reflection and actually healing time. I had mistaken passing time with healing those first 3 years single. Saying hi back. Rachel, what's up? Milan says that shit is different when your partner lovingly inquires about your trauma instead of challenging it or judging you for it. That's what you were talking about. Yeah. Natty said, "Oh my God, yes, it was probably in response to something." Eminem, what up? How are you? The Swifties. Oh, not the Swifties though. I love what you said before, but
I think
feel it.
her comment right after it is the completion of that.
Okay, life and human nature. Yup. Me and basic kind of thing. Yup. So my daughter's screaming.
Oh.
Okay. I like it. Go ahead. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So in the process of healing and going forward, right? What do you see out of people that could be peers or somebody you're around that is currently dealing with that? Can you kind of pick up on that? Like as you're moving forward and understanding, like I feel like the traumas I used to have, I start seeing it in other people and I look at it and I'm like, I don't know about you. I smile when I see it because I'm watching a person be a human. I'm watching a person experience things they haven't experienced as a child. And it comes from that, but it's like it's also here and it's like I want to just put my arms out and just, talk to you and like, yo, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be okay. Because we don't really have that like that. Not saying that we don't, because I don't know who talks to who, but sometimes that type of advice isn't really passed out and given to people. Or experience. Go ahead.
I think
I gotta go to the back. Go ahead, talk. I can still hear you.
Okay. I think for the most part, it makes me just feel an immense amount of empathy. I'm a very private person. So I try to treat people the way that I would want to be treated. And because I'm a very private person, that also means that I know that I hold a lot of things close to me, and I'm not always open to advice initially. I think I have to usually reach out to people for advice. And so a lot of times when I see people going through cycles that feel similar to what I felt, what I do feel is an immense amount of empathy for them. But I also know that we all have our own journeys to walk. And I can't tell a person that just because something happened in a certain way to me, that means that it's going to happen in that exact way to them. I think that we often, so many times, can, with the best intentions, can be putting our own personal trauma onto other people. Like something happened to us and it happened negatively. And so when we see people going through similar experiences, we want to be like, hey, watch out. This looks like it could be this because this is what happened to me. And not everybody's journey looks the same, and they haven't even gone through the whole process of it. So even when we might be our intention might be to help them, we may just be deflecting. You know what I mean? Like putting our own personal trauma onto another person. So I actively try not to give advice. I will be there for a person if they come to me. I will share my experience if they ask, and talk about how it affected me. But also, I try to always keep in mind that all of our journeys are so different. And just because mine looked this way And we could have had similar starting patterns. That doesn't mean they're all going to end the same, or that you're even going to experience it in the same way that I do. So when I see people going through things similarly, I feel a lot of empathy, because I know what it felt like for me personally to sit in that space, but I never try to impose. I never try to put my own personal experiences on someone else and then tell them how that they should operate. And I don't think I would want that either. I think I would want to I would I'm always wanting to experience things in my own way, and I'm also always trying to give that to other people as well. So when I'm seeing it, I think I'm never going to try to like reach out and be like, hey, I've been through this, you should probably do this. I'm probably just going to feel a lot of empathy for you. And if you need me, I'm there. But I also have to respect that you're walking your own journey. And I pray that your trauma will not be my trauma. But if you need help, and if you reach out for help, then I will be there to help you. And if me telling my story might help you see something, then yes, but I'm never going to impose. I'm never going to put my experiences on you. I'm never going to tell you how to navigate it. Because just because something happened to me does not mean it's going to happen the same way to you. And I have to respect that. My traumas are not yours, you know?
I feel like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was looking at we got a whole bunch of stuff that came in while I was rambling. I was gonna
You're basic. You're not rambling. You're rambling means it ain't making sense no more. At this point, you trumping. So
Ben was saying, I love that for basic, and I hope to have that for me. I guess we were talking about me and my relationship and having somebody who, kind of brings that out of me. Hold on. Oh no, we already did that one. I was a hopeless romantic from past experiences, and I'm very cold. And you're very cold now. I get it. Trust me. I have.
We've had talks. We had talks, bro. We had talks.
Definitely went through that phase.
Hey, Daddy, great job. Thank you, Basic, for sharing so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Swifties, you got people yelling. Never mind. Yeah, I don't. I don't like to give advice. I'm not a. I give advice, but it's in certain other areas like basketball and like topics on that and stuff like yeah. I'm not giving nobody no advice on any other situations.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Basic. Thinking that's based off what you're saying too. I've been in therapy so much during my 20s and about to be 30. That's 29. That is 29 to go into 30. When I tell you, I chat GPT the mess out of myself now. I went into space of reclaiming my power just yesterday, and it felt so good.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can hear the dog that's struggling
so quickly because I spot it, and I'm like, okay, got to move this way. Okay. Actually, I had messages that was sent to me from me. She sent me the thing that I sent you earlier. These are the questions that were kind of adding into that. So it was like, one of my other friends heard about the topic too, and then I asked the question as far as like the traumas. There's different traumas and races. Okay. Like our traumas isn't the same trauma as another race. And I was talking to, I was sitting with my one of it's not a coworker, but he works at the job with me, so I guess you could say a coworker. He comes like every Monday, and we were sitting inside the lunchroom and we were talking. And that was a really great conversation we were having. It was very in depth about this particular topic, and it was saying like how some races in the world don't have the same traumas. I mean, me as a black man, my trauma is different. My shit stems from my shit gets put in a certain space. I got to be careful on how I approach, how I move, how I do this, because the one thing I'm not going to do is I went through my shit, but then start treating everybody or start shitting on my black women now. I'm not doing that. You ain't gonna catch Mike doing that shit at all. You already know how I get down. I don't do that. So it was like, you got to be careful on how you talk then too, because I don't want no tropes, no anything. You're not gonna catch me saying some bullshit about women and that ain't true. Now, can I openly admit to having a point in my life where I did think certain ways? Yeah, I did. I think I told you before, like, I've had open mindsets of like, oh, maybe I should date another race because my own women don't like me like that. But that was insecurities. I'm gonna go to the topic. Look, y'all, let's see the topic, right? We'll go back to the topic. This is the topic. How do you handle past trauma and insecurities in relationships? Insecurities was my problem at that point. Like, why would I say that? I said that because I was having an insecure moment. I said that because the select became became everyone.
Yeah.
The select that was doing that became every black woman. And that's not it at all. Like, sometimes you just have situations where you go through shit where people, not everybody is for you. And I never thought like that, because everybody that I come in contact with, I'm like, all right, maybe she's doing it. Ain't like our wife did it, just that I liked you. If I liked you, I'll put all my attention on you.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where I wasn't dating at all. I just started taking breaks and not dating and doing nothing.
I get it.
That the crazy part is the early part of my 30s. Like, when my daughter's mom broke up when I was 29, there was a struggle from that point on. Not because of her, it just that was a struggle because I don't think I ever really defined who I was in the beginning. I actually started like learning things later in my life. I didn't start really learning how to be an effective person until my 30s, because I spent probably almost all my 20s with one person.
Mm.
And then we would break up for a little while and then get back together. And then, like, it was weird. It was just a weird situation. So that was like a real first thing. And it was like, I was dragging all these things along with it, taking all this shit along with it and making all these problems, creating all these things. Probably, like I said, when I started learning that my insecurities and my problems would come in because of that.
Yeah.
I just remember where it stopped, and I had to put the change in. I had to change it up and say, okay, this is what I don't want to happen. And it's already a stigma. Like I said, it's a stigma on me as a black man. When you got a kid, now you're a baby father. I'm not respected a certain way now because I'm a baby father. That's what started kicking in my head. So now Gabby became the focal point in my life. Oh, I'm just going to do what I got to do for my kid, and that's it.
Yeah.
As long as I got my kid, I'm good. It's a weird space because I use my kid as a crutch.
You feel like you use her as a crutch?
At that time, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, all right, well, I don't have to be with you. I'll just be the perfect father, because I needed something to say I was good at something.
That makes sense. I mean, I can understand that. Yeah.
Because I wasn't one for failure. When you have chronic anxiety, you need something to hold on to that you don't feel like, that it could potentially lead you into that dark place or whatever the case is. And I felt that a couple of different times. So I had to sit back and really work on that and not make Gabby the focal point of everything.
Yeah.
Not use Gabby as a, well, I'm successful because I'm a great father now.
Yeah.
Because at some point that started not mattering.
Right.
No matter how much it was. So
do you ever feel like you have let traumas or past traumas or insecurities like lead your relationship or dictate your relationship more so than the actual like love in your relationship, or where you felt like your traumas and insecurities outweighed everything else? You know what I mean? They affected the way you moved throughout your whole relationship, and you weren't able to focus organically on like the love and the relationship that you had initially, that you had with this particular person, because you were so busy dwelling on like, and maybe not even intentionally, but you were so busy, you were so stuck in like this like trauma response, or maybe you were so stuck with these insecurities that it just dictated your every move throughout a relationship.
Mm, that might be the best question I've ever asked in my life. Mm, yeah, it's nothing now, but if I can pinpoint when it was,
Mm-hmm.
it was my exit years, a couple years back. Um, how I treated that, I remember like having those moments where it was like that that insecure side of me would come out
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be where I was at now. Where I'm at now is where I wanted to be then,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't there. Um, and I would say that I probably put so much expectation on myself that any little thing that was going wrong was heightened. And then trying to be there so much for the person that you didn't realize that they probably need a little bit of space
Mm.
because I was like drowning her in myself.
Okay.
And I remember when we had our last time that we had a bad situation, I did do something stupid. I never cheated, never did nothing like that. But I remember we had a bad situation, and she was she didn't talk to me for a few days, and I felt as though my way of getting back at her was to like go on one of my friends like thing. She'd had like a I'm open as fuck about this too. She had like she had a charity thing she was doing, and it was to help like it was to help like for some type of um thing that was happening. I forgot what it was. I can't remember 100% what it was. But she had a charity. It was like someone had a charity event, and I joined up on that charity event. But it was to go out on a date with somebody,
Okay.
and I joined it. I won the date. I never went on a date, but I gave the money because I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do something. But I shouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
I was in my mind. I'm like, she didn't want nothing to do with me because my trauma, my thing kicked in,
Yeah.
and I, like I said, it was a very, and I actually messaged the person and said, I don't want no dinner or nothing. I just want to do the money part of it, but I want to join your thing. And I did it, and it just was like it was fucked up. In my mind, mentally, it was fucked up. Never, nothing ever came out of that at all. Like it was just like donate money. That was it.
Yeah.
But like I lost that person because of that. So sometimes you do have to like I can honestly say like you will have times where you got to check yourself at the door and realize these are things you shouldn't do. Like I can't let my trauma go forward with me. That's
Yeah.
when I learned it, at that point.
Yeah.
I told you when it at that point that you ever learned something and you never did it again.
Right. Yeah.
That was that point.
Yeah.
Now, if I was out of a relationship or anything like that, I was out of a relationship.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what you done in your time, I would not know. And what I do in my time, I did it in my time.
Mm-hmm.
but I never, if it wasn't 100% confirmed that we weren't together anymore, I wouldn't, like, that never happened ever again.
Yeah.
No, because I shouldn't have did that too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have did that because it's like, no matter how it looks, it ain't got to be cheating, ain't got to be nothing. I hurt somebody because I did that.
Yeah.
And then when I explain it, I'm like, it just like, and then I can, as I'm explaining it, you have to understand, like, that rush and that feeling that's coming all in you. It's like this fucked up feeling inside your body, and it just takes over you, and I'm like freaking out inside.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Oh,
And one of
sorry.
my, I could say for me, like in one of my
No,
early,
not at all. Good.
in one of my earliest relationships, I would say if I would, in my adult years, like once I matured, I can recognize that the relationship was emotionally probably abusive. And I don't even know if he thought of it that way, like if he was thinking it was that way, but it was very much that for me, you know. I feel like he was always trying to knock me down a peg, right? Or make me feel like
I'm still here.
I was like less than, and then I would be constantly trying to prove that I wasn't, you know. And it was rough. Like it was a rough period of time just because I was struggling. I felt really weak. And I probably was because I was extremely naive and I didn't know anything about myself, and I hadn't had enough experience in life to really be able to say, you know, that I shouldn't be having to prove myself. It was one of my first relationships. It was probably not the best like way to feel it, but it was one of those things where I constantly felt like I was trying to like constantly prove why you should choose me and why you should be with me. And it had a lot to do also with that person actively making me feel like I wasn't enough or telling me things to make me feel bad about myself. And I remember coming out of that relationship, recognizing it, but not realizing that I was still carrying it. Like I was aware that they were doing it to me. I was aware that I wasn't happy with it. I was aware that it had like changed me, but I wasn't aware of how I was going to take it into the next relationship. And I
Yeah.
remember probably the next two relationships after that, it wasn't necessarily them, but it was me constantly trying to not only prove that I was enough, but always feeling like always feeling like I wasn't, you know, in the back of my mind, always feeling like I wasn't. And so I'm constantly trying, and now I'm drowning you in me. You know what I mean? Like I'm always so self-conscious. I'm always questioning everything you do, every move you make. I'm always worried about like if somebody else is better because I felt someone else was better. I had been almost trained to think that I wasn't enough. So I always felt like everyone else could be better. And like I was always feeling like I had to prove why I was better. And that constant like being insecure, always second guessing not only myself but them, always being extra suspicious, that we never had any rest in those relationships because, and I have to play my part. Like I have to accept my part in it. I was all still very much being triggered by this one relationship that my partner had made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And so I just started to feel like I wasn't good enough in the next two relations after that. Like I went into it automatically feeling like I wasn't good enough, automatically feeling like I had to prove myself, automatically feeling like I couldn't trust them, automatically feeling like they were going to find somebody else better than me. And so then I questioned everything that they did. You know what I mean? I was always so insecure and so self-conscious until I wore myself down.
Damn.
And it took a moment for me to like be like, why am I trying to prove myself? Like I know who I am. and I know what I bring, and I have to stop being so in my head all the time. And I'm not even gonna lie, even to this day, there are instances where I still even though I know exactly who I am, I know so much more, I'm more confident in myself as a woman now than I ever have been. Every once in a while, I still have those moments where I feel slightly like insecure, and I have to check myself. I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not as bad as it was back then. I think it's because I was just transitioning out from one unhealthy relationship and into another, and not really like
Of course.
fully recognizing what had happened to me, and not even realizing that it was emotional abuse at the time, and not realizing what it had done to me psychologically. It was so easy to transition into another relationship and carry that with me. It was almost like it was just a natural flow of it, and there's no wonder why those relationships didn't work. Like, I can definitely, I'm not, and not to say the other person was perfect, but I know I couldn't have like helped the situation at all, because I was still carrying so much insecurity and still trying to like be so much more and do so much that I was even giving too much of myself and not asking for anything in return, because I was trying to prove that I was worthy of love so much that I was overextending myself in relationships and never asking for anything back. I was just so busy trying to prove that I was good enough for somebody to love. That I was never asking for anything. Like, and it took a little minute for me to be like, man, you really have to sit with this. Like, you've got to sit with this and figure this out. Cause like, it's not, you are repeating these patterns with people, and it's not turning out the way you want it to. And you have to figure out what your part is, because you can't always blame it on the other person. You have to figure out what your part is. And it took me a minute, but I really had to recognize that I was still living in a space of feeling like I wasn't good enough. And because I felt like I wasn't good enough, I was always self-conscious, always insecure, always doing too much, always overly giving, never asking for anything, never saying I need this, but constantly trying to let them know that I was like the perfect person, and I would take care of them, and they never had to give me anything back. I never would express my needs, almost because I felt like I didn't like it was almost like it was an afterthought what I needed. Like, it was almost like I didn't even think about it. I was just too busy trying to prove myself. And it took like some time and some life and some learning for me to be able to recognize that I didn't have to do that, and value myself enough to say, I bring enough to the table to be treated a certain way.
Yeah.
I bring enough to the table to be able to ask for what I want and not just give until I built up all this resentment towards you. Because that's what would happen. Like, I would give so much and not ask for anything back until I built resentment. And that was like, it was probably, those were early. When I say those were early relationships, I mean like before my kid kind of early relationships. Like, so they were just, also that comes along with being naive too. Like, before me having Lola, not really knowing how to navigate through life and not really experiencing enough life, it was easy for me to be caught in those patterns. And, for the longest time with Lola, I didn't date. It really, I think during that time when I wasn't dating, it was also a time of self-reflection too, for me. Like, really just kind of like figuring myself out and recognizing who I was, and recognizing that I didn't have to like try to prove myself to anyone, and recognizing that I'm a good person and I deserve certain things from people, and also recognizing that I should be okay with asking for what I need, and not giving so much of myself to the point where I resent my partner because I never asked for anything back. So, I've definitely done it before. It just took some time for me to recognize it. Yeah.
Yeah, she said she wanted this shit to be emotional today. I don't know if I got any silly stuff on here. I'm trying to see how I can lighten up the mood. There ain't nothing on here that I can lighten up the mood with.
We don't have to lighten it.
I mean,
It
sometimes.
has to be lightened.
All right, look, I put it like this. So, like, when it comes to stuff, right, when I'm learning, also, like, of course, conversations like this are very triggering, very, very hard to have. People's realities are being checked. My realities is being checked. Your realities is being checked. This is the best type of thing that you could possibly do. Now, I'm not giving advice. I just kind of like, being in spaces like this where the people are saying the things the right way, at least trying to make it the right way as much as we possibly can. Don't know who we're saying it wrong to, but it at least hones in on everything, and now we're gonna all galvanize around each other. Excuse me, learn everybody else's experience and what it is for them. What was your experience in dealing with your partner that is dealing with besides healing from trauma? Is that a both of us question, or is that?
I don't know.
Evaluate the impact. How does your insecurity affect your life? Evaluations well being evaluated. So 2-part questions. All right. So we have yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure before we got to it. All right. So what is your experience in dealing with your partner that is dealing with healing from trauma?
What was your experience in dealing with your partner? So I can go first, Mike. I will say the first thing for me is one, being aware that I have traumas, and when I see them arise, or in the first instance when I notice that what I'm doing is a trauma response, talking about it with my partner, hoping that they helping them to understand why I might be reacting in a way that doesn't feel the norm, right? Or that might feel like something that they don't usually get from me, right? So that's the first thing that I tried to do. Also, currently, asking them to allow me to give myself space to, if I am having a trauma response, to one, apologize, because I recognize that this is coming from a past trauma, and hopefully that they will give me the grace to be able to apologize to them, but also to learn from it. So when certain instances have happened and I might be responding in a way that seems irrational, right? Whether it be I'm crying or I'm emotional about something, we're going to talk about it. So as we talk about it, I also actively and out loud, one, will apologize for my response, one, and two, also ask them to give me the space to just listen and be receptive, because once they tell me how my response made them feel, I want to understand how it made them feel. So one, it's like not just, I can't bottle it off. I can't be like, well, that's just who I am. I'm not going to change. I want to be better. I want to do better. I need the space to grow and be better if I feel like I can. So I'm going to listen and be receptive to how what I did might have made you feel, and why my response does not apply to the current relationship that we're in and how I'm being treated right now. If I have a visceral reaction to something that is instinctual, I have to be able to say, if they say to me, this is not who we are, I've never made you feel this way before, I've never done this to you, and I don't know why this is your reaction, I want to be able to, one, apologize for it, and two, I want to be able to hear what you have to say so that I can be able to correct myself and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I was wrong in the way I responded. I am reacting off of something that has happened in the past, and this felt initially kind of familiar, and it might have made me feel really insecure. But I also need to be open to listening to you and what you're saying, and taking that, and then being more self-aware as we move through this relationship so that I don't continue to repeat those same patterns with you. If you have not given me that same energy that I got in the past that led to this trauma, and you are not giving that to me, I cannot keep dogpiling on you and putting
Mm-hmm.
you. And I also can't expect for you to heal me, right? So, it is not his job to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
He is supportive and he is reassuring, but it is more so my responsibility more than either one of ours to really step up to the plate and say, I have to be aware and I have to be more cognizant of like what is causing me to feel a certain way and try not to continue to punish you because of what I've dealt with in the past, especially if you're not giving me that same energy. So I have to be accountable in it too. I have to be accountable. So I've just kind of been working through that, and luckily currently I'm with a partner who's just very receptive of that, like very understanding. Yes, the conversations can be heated at first. It's not like all like it doesn't always go perfectly, and sometimes it can be an argument that might lead to this resolve, and not even an argument. I don't even want to say that because it's not an argument. It's a discussion, and maybe just a heated discussion or a passionate discussion, because it can stir up emotions, especially when you might make them feel away. You know what I mean? If my trauma that I'm imposing on you hurts your feelings are valid, and you are allowed to tell me that it made you feel that way, and I now need to be receptive and listen and hold myself accountable and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I was reacting in a way that has nothing to do with you and everything to do with something else that I might have felt and dealt with in the past. And I'm just acting off of instinct. And I need to like take a step back and think about it. And I can apologize because you didn't do this. You didn't make me feel this way, but I'm reacting as a response to something that happened to me before. And it's not fair for me to put that on you. So, yeah.
Okay. May um, it's very similar to you in the beginning part of it. The rest of it, of course, that belongs to what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but very much similar in the beginning. But I would also add that my experiences with it overall is that I've always tried to be a person to help people, always, or at least do what I could. What I done at that time was what I did at that time as far as learning how to help people. But I've always been as genuine as I possibly can be towards people, willing to help whatever way I could. And like I said, even though if I might not have been able to do it in other areas, I did whatever I could. Like today, I would say, yeah, I'm tired, bro. But today, I would say how I do it now is I open up these ears a lot more. You know, it's like, do I talk more? The biggest thing that I have started doing was not reacting to a person, but asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't react no more. It's not like, oh, you did this. I'm going to ask you a question. What I'll do is I'll sit there and say, okay, so this, and this, and this. That's what I'll do now. Because the best thing you can do is if we are having a conversation, conversations consist of questions, not necessarily debates.
Yeah.
That's a debate. I'm not trying to debate you. I don't want to argue with you. I want to get to a root point. If you give me a clear cut, I think what I've accepted now is that if your answer does a particular thing, okay, I'll 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 shut it down for myself. Like, okay, not in a bad way of shutting it down. Like, oh, it don't make sense to me. I don't want to talk about it. I said, oh, okay, and I have nothing else to say now. You got me. I have nothing else to say. I can't think of anything to say. I'm not even going to try to reach for it. Like, okay, but if it doesn't make sense or it doesn't do this, I'm gonna keep asking questions, and to the
Mm-hmm.
point where we can have the conversation a certain way because I feel like, okay, these things need to be said or be done or whatever the case is because there's no clarity around this. it's almost like what I did before was just end the conversation. But now, if you want me to stay in a conversation, this is how I found out how to stay in a conversation. This is my own stuff work. Okay, instead of me just leaving the stuff, let me go sit in this conversation and ask more questions and get to this point and see what it is. But now, once I'm having a question, I can start bringing things to your attention. Oh, well, this is this and this is this. That, I'm able to now pinpoint things and put them in perspective for myself. So that's how I feel like with that. And then a person who's possibly healing, it's understanding and recognizing it. But I'm also not a fan of like trying to, like, if it's a new relationship, I'd rather not try to be with somebody who's in that healing process, because I don't want them to lose their mission. Because what am I going to do? I'm possibly going to come in here and fuck something up. Possibly. I'm not saying I am,
Yeah,
but I'm going to disturb something. And everybody is always on some type of journey.
we all are.
As self-healing every day. But just like Beaver Barker said last week, sometimes why would you self-heal? Why don't you just get with people? And we got questions on Mondays at 7 p.m. But
Was
anyway,
was there another question that was like right after
yeah,
the
it
one
was.
I asked?
It's kind of like two of them. Well, I'm going to answer this one first before I go to the top one that Bulbasaur did. She said, "Would you provide reinsurance?" Um, me personally, reinsurance, right? I'm going to reinsure you as much as I possibly can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Too much reinsurance is a problem. I think that's a known fact. The reason why is because um, it's an unhealthy. What did I read about this a while ago? Unhealthy coping mechanism. Somebody always has to reinsure you to make you comfortable. You have to do that for yourself. Reinsure you, because I
Yeah.
can't keep doing it. I can only do but so much. Let me do it, and then I have to do it in my own way. Because sometimes people will get reinsured, but it might not work for them. And it's like, oh, how you gonna
Yeah.
tell me how I'm supposed to reinsure you? Like now it makes it like it feels robotic. Now it's like, oh, you got to do it this way. Now I'm like, you know what? I understand you. This is when now I think you might need some time to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a different type of conversation.
Yeah. You're right. I agree with that. I know this because, like, for instance, in my current relationship, I have been, like, he has said to me, and this is part of the reason why I say you cannot put all of the weight on your partner to fix you,
Okay.
right? And to make it better for you, to make you feel safe. But he actively, throughout, even outside of outside of issues, he actively, just through day-to-day motions, does what he can to reassure me that he loves me. It has nothing to do with I'm trying to prove myself to you.
Yeah.
So he feels like, and I agree with this, and we've talked about this, like, if every day I'm showing you, then I shouldn't. You have to realize when I personally have to realize when I am maybe going through a pattern of feeling insecure, and ask myself, why am I feeling insecure? Because he'll say, like, listen, you know I love you, and I'm always going to tell you that I love you, and I'm always going to let you know how I feel about you, but I cannot, I don't want to feel like I'm always coddling you, or I'm always like on eggshells because you're not feeling confident when I do everything I can to make you feel confident. 100% true. And it's 100% true. Like, if you are doing everything to make me feel confident, and yet I'm still shaky for whatever reason, and it has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with, like, and I can say that, like, it's not something that he did to make me feel like less confident. It might just be I'm having a day where I just might feel like he has no problem. If he actively is making me feel loved, and I'm still, like,
we got you, Mark.
shaky ground, I'm still on shaky ground, then I also have to do my part. to say, what is it that's making me feel that way? Especially if this man is showing me every day. Like he's
Yeah.
like, if you're showing me every day that I mean something, if I never have ever had to second guess, if I think about it logically and I say, when have I had to second guess how this person feels about me? And the answer is never.
Yeah.
Then maybe I'm dealing with something that has something to do with me, and I can't always put that on him.
Yeah.
And vice
Yeah.
versa. Like he was saying, like if I was always constantly questioning you about something that you had said to me or somebody you said you talked to, when every day you show up for me and you choose me and you make me feel chosen and you make me feel special, and I ask you about something and I'm feeling insecure, I need to figure out what's happening with me and why
Mm-hmm.
especially when you are actively showing me every day.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot, reassurance. There's nothing wrong with reassurance.
Not at all.
But we also have to do the work ourselves.
Yep. 100%. Because I'll tell you that once again. Remember, we're moving forward in our traumas. I had to understand it about myself that I can't handle it, that after a while. I can't handle that. I can't handle constant things after a while. But I realized my life and how I've been now. I, my heart is open so much since whatever in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Open up so much. I had to open up the ears and really, pay attention a certain way, and it's fully open to things, to people, to circumstances, to situations. Like I love the fact that somebody can want me to be the person that helps them in their reinsurances.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as we have a common understanding that, hey, sometimes it gets overwhelming for me too, we good. Because I'm like, you got to do the work. You have to do the work. Um, Leilani, what up, Leilani? Welcome in. Marcus says, what distinctions are present when a person is healed versus being in the process of healing? Um,
I honestly can't answer that,
can't
Marcus.
really
I
see it. Yeah, I'm
honestly
about to
feel
say
like I personally
it's
feel
up to
like
the person. I can't. Yeah,
most people are always in a constant like state of healing. I
yeah.
can't tell if I can't tell. You may feel like you've healed through like, but I feel like it's a constant, ongoing thing. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
definitely
damn sure.
it looks like. I cannot tell you what that looks like. I feel like we're all constantly working through something. We
That's
may
a. I
be
think
from
that's a. Go ahead. You think what?
I was
I'm
gonna say
sorry.
we might be a little bit better off as we go, but I feel like we're always constantly working through and doing the work,
Yeah.
hopefully, to heal.
Right. So that was probably more or less in response to what I said
Oh, okay.
about actively not trying to date a person in their healing process.
Mm,
Because if you tell me you are, that's what I'm paying attention to. I can't tell what it looks like, but if you tell me this is where you're at in your life,
yeah.
I'm listening and I'm actively listening to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you like, once you say this, man, I just got out of a bad relationship. Is this ding? That's something that I
That's all.
pay attention to.
Yeah.
It starts fluttering everywhere. Like it's like see, you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Exactly. Like I knew exactly where it was coming. But I think as I'm saying it, they're getting the answer what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's what I pay attention to is what you're actively telling me. If you're at this certain stage, yeah, sure. You was behind. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It wasn't even about that being behind. I just, your answer as I type that. Yep. So it was just more or less. I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start throwing more context on what I'm saying. So that could be a shout out for that too. Thanks, Mark. Um, but yeah, that's what it is for me. Is that a person can be both healing and in a secure pace in a relationship where those traumas may not present in a damaging way. Yes. And that's
Yeah.
still pretty much kind of in response to me. Um, and I love that I was able to at least put that out there so I can let it know. Like this is what I meant by it. The concept of clarity is a great alternative to use as well. I agree. Yeah. Big time. And it's like the dope part about this, because we're so serious now. Now I feel like we're having fun with it now. Now it's fun. It's not so serious
Okay.
no more. Um, we we all we all understand our traumas, or at least trying to understand our traumas. At this point in our lives, we should be in actively, or at least somewhat know exactly what's going on with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is now, what are you doing? What's the process? What are we doing now? Are you actually, if you out there getting it, or are you healing? Or are you doing this? What are you doing now? Like, what steps are you taking? What places? Where are we going with this? How can we get more around people just to talk, be able to hear hear experiences and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's something, like it really is. And it's something about being around a group of people that can really help out with that I feel like is a dope thing. That's why like even when me at work, my circle is very thin. I would not have sent this to my homie Ro if I didn't feel like he would like this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't send it to other friends that I work with, or other people that I consider really friends at the job, or really friends in life. Like my real friends and they know exactly who I am, because I don't have to question them.
Right.
They don't have to they don't have to, they already know. They can be able to say anything to me and I'm like, okay. I can be called out in the most kindest way. I can be called out in the worst way, but I get it from them. So, like, and I just feel like we always would like King. What did he write? King said, "Healing is a journey, not a race." Hell yeah! You on
100%.
a Sun Wukong type of journey. You on a Final Fantasy type of journey. You don't
100%.
know where we're going to end. And guess what? People can call me nerdy, geeky, all you want. I'm going to use these phrases. My life feels like an RPG, role playing game. I started off at level 1. I'm at level 39 right now, going to level 40.
Right.
People laugh about it, but all the things that you gained in between, all the stories that was told from this point to this point has been everything. My life is as thick as a goddamn encyclopedia at this point. I have so much that I've done, so much that I've experienced, so much that I have lost, so much that I have gained, so many people that I have gained. I can tell you this now. 10 years ago, I didn't know any as much as I do now, people wise. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think so many more. It's probably more or less people know me more than I 100% know everybody. And like you heard my mom call it out, like she didn't know I knew that many people, and then I looked at her and said, I didn't even know I knew that many people until I start seeing everybody. I got a coworker that I work with right now that walked right up to me, yo, what's up, Mike? And I'm looking at him like, what the fuck, who are you? Then I had to look at Facebook pictures and stuff like that. They had to show me that we went to Roxborough together, well, high school together. I'm like, oh shit. Like it's like, but that's the point that I'm making. Like I have that book is pretty thick with a lot of people that know me, or that experiences that I had in life, all these different things that has happened, and it's just getting bigger. The book is getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
They expanding more. It's adding more chapters into it until that book finally said, it's finally over. So my
Mm-hmm.
signature is stamped and I'm not here no more.
Yeah. I think we
So I'm
will constantly
ass
move through
turns.
life and figure things out about ourselves. Like I said, I just recently figured out that whole thing about me making myself smaller. Like I don't think I had ever even recognized that was a problem until someone actually asked me to love more boldly and confidently, and I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't even know what it meant. You know what I mean? I didn't even understand the concept of what that meant. And I had to ask myself, how are you not? And then thinking about certain circumstances and then giving me examples of like how I might put certain things or how I might say something like, or I, little things like me being timid about saying something that I wanted, or and not like saying something that I wanted or that I needed in a relationship that I was missing. I mean, me feeling confident enough to be like, I want this, or I like this, or I don't want, or me just asserting myself in the relationship because I can, because like for him to say you can do that though, because you're my lady and I'm yours, and you should be able to say that this is what, like, if this is what you, then you say that confidently, say this is what you want. You don't have to try to like make it cute and package it nicely and try not to hurt my feelings, or not even hurt my feelings, but just like try to say it sweetly. If anybody should feel confident enough to say what they want, it's you, because of who you are to me. And it was like me trying to figure out, it took me a minute to figure out exactly what he was saying to me. And then thinking about it, I move sometimes very timidly, and then asking myself, why do I move through love timidly? And then realizing that I have, over the course of time, made, like, in relationships, minimalized my love. I've been told I was too much. I've been told I did too much, and it was, too lovey, too extra, too this, too that. And in the course of time, trained myself to not love boldly. And now to be given the opportunity to love boldly and love out loud and confidently, and recognize that I wasn't doing that, was mind blowing, to be figuring that out now at 43 and 9 days. You know what I mean? Like, to not know what that looks like. And I'm about to be 43, and to not know what that looks like until now, like what loving boldly looks like. And to recognize that I wasn't doing it, and to also recognize that that wasn't a good thing. You know what I mean? I thought I was doing the right thing, and I was loving the right way by just, pulling back a little bit, just, being nice about it, doing everything very cautiously and carefully and politely. And that was not necessary. Not when someone makes you feel secure, not when someone wants you to feel confident in the love and the bond that you have. They want you to love boldly and love out loud. And it's okay to feel that way and to do that. And for me to just now be recognizing that, that's why what he said is true. It's a journey. Healing is a journey. You're constantly figuring things out about yourself. You're constantly fixing things that you might not have ever known you needed to fix.
I should get that put on a t-shirt.
What's that?
But healing is not a journey. ... Right? But on my ass cheeks, put I'm tripping. I would just put it on my ass cheeks, not a race.
Okay. No, it's not a race. It's a journey.
No, he said the healing is a journey, not a race.
Oh, yeah. Which is the same thing. I just inverted the
Put
words.
one on one cheek and then the other one on another cheek. Yeah, it's gay. But anyway, I didn't put myself in the whole situation. I'll just play, y'all. Excuse me. I mean, hey, look, we didn't talk enough. We didn't talk enough. Any more that you want to talk about? Fighting tears all day and shit, and like.
Did we get all the comments? Did we get everything?
Yeah, everybody got their comments.
For some reason, I can't always see everything. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, everything's there. Everything's there.
Stop sometimes.
Let's put it on a billboard.
Right.
Right. Not on my ass cheeks. Got it.
Billboard is safer than on his ass cheeks, definitely.
Yeah, no. It is what it is. But another really good topic today. I really enjoyed it. I feel like just the lesson in life. I think I say wild shit because I like to get people to just give a little smile. I don't have to say it. I just do it. But lesson for me with this is just, at the end of the day, we all know what we fight with every day. We all know what we carry with us every day. We all know what we got to move forward with, because for the most part, 98%, 99%, probably 100% of people have trauma some type of way.
Yeah.
Some type of way. Some people are born with everything in other people's eyes, but suffering the most because they don't feel like regular people. Yeah. You never know how we're gonna identify our traumas. You have people every day that self-identities, they don't have an identity in their mind. They feel like they're too weird, or they don't have enough friends, or they don't have a connection with, having a person in their life. They don't know how to talk well. We have people that probably are handicapped or deficient or have some type of, mental deficiencies or anything like that, and they are treated different. And then we don't even understand the traumas that they go through. You know, people of all types of walks of life that want to just be them but can't because society tells them they can't.
Mm-hmm.
This I've I'm a I've realized that I'm an empath. That is some of the stuff that hurts me the most is watching a person. Um, like I was looking at Ryan Clark was talking to a guy who was he was supposed to be an NFL player. He played for LSU and a couple other teams. I forgot what it was, but one day he went and checked into the hospital, and they had a tumor. And the tumor that they took the tumor out, but it paralyzed him
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you would have thought he was born handicapped. Like couldn't move his arms, couldn't talk right, couldn't do nothing. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a whole different person, and it was like me watching that. I know I felt the pain and stuff rushing up in me, but then I seen Ryan Clark cry, and I was like, God damn, because he was like this kid, you know, he his life is different now, but he's now getting to live another type of life, probably something that he's probably enjoying now, because we look at it as, oh, if you're not doing what I do, then you're how would I say it? Like you're done in life. And it's like, nah, he probably had more fun than everybody. He got people that's probably surrounding him and loving on him and doing all types of stuff. Something that a lot of us need and haven't had in him forever. And he's getting everything. Even if he can't mobily or physically do anything that we do, like who's to say that he's miserable now?
Yeah.
He could be genuinely happy.
Mm.
So I don't know. Maybe that's what makes me the angel on earth, Mike. So because I actually think about things like that. Watch, I'm telling you, one day I'm gonna look and be like, oh shit, this nigga really was an angel. Thank you, Bulbasaur. I really appreciate that.
You?
Yeah, yeah, it was. Right. All right, basic. Any last words? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, great topic. Thank you guys for all of your input as well. It's good to have like flesh things out like this and just get it out and talk about it.
She had plans today, y'all. It was the liquor.
Who had plans? Who drinking liquor?
It was the liquor for me. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You were trying
what
to
it
get.
was? Oh, okay.
He's like, he's like, get me. All right, we got to plan this live show out
I
too.
never
We're
would
gonna
have
talk
guessed
about
that you were going to be drinking today. Never would have guessed that.
it. It is what it is. I'm here. Well, yeah, we got to talk about this live show and get all that going so we let everybody know what's happening with that. So, yeah. Cinco de Drinko. Okay. Del Drinko. Okay. Sorry, I was cooking. I'm here. Oh, no, you're good. Like,
No
honey, you're good.
worries.
That's why this is this is why this is recorded. So you go all the way back to the point where basically we're about to make both of us cry and then start it up again. And it's crazy because I can hear Biggs' voice cracking. I'm like, oh, look at the improvement. I was expecting some crying, like it didn't happen. But all right. Listen, y'all, appreciate y'all for joining us. Anybody that's still here, make sure that you like and subscribe and following us. Follow Basic on all her platforms. Just underscore Basic underscore Lee on all her platforms. I don't know if Basic felt it yet, but sometimes when we go into lives, like if we've been in people's lives together and people have like, oh my God, it's Basic, and she just be chill, regular. They talk about it regular. She's like, hi guys, I'm like. You got whole superstar status and ain't even. It was dope. It's a dope feeling. So one thing I think when people recognize you for the work that you do, that's something that's fun. But I never
Yeah.
I do not when somebody does it to me, I would be like, "Ugh," like, hey, family, like I would treat you like that. Like I don't want to feel like a, a superstar. Hell no, don't give me that type of thing. Y'all know where to follow me, all my good stuff right there. Mike and Z. Y'all probably already follow me anyway, so I'm just sending it out. Like, follow, share, all that good stuff. Make sure your Mimi's art run right there. All her paintings, all her art stuff, very dope. She has a very dope Sailor Moon and Goku. It's like upside down. So Goku's like down here, Sailor Moon's over here, but you can flip it over. Put Black Goku on top, and Black Sailor Moon on the bottom. So it's really dope. I'll make sure to post that picture. Rachel comes in here, so Rami eats underscore eats. I think she just had something yesterday. She does the fun stuff, y'all. You know, y'all go in there, y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. I think we got some more people in here. Nope, that's about it. Everybody else just, they'll catch them on the flip side of the thing. So, but all right, we getting out of here, y'all. There's 11 people in here, but y'all gotta go to bed just like I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up early in all y'all motherfuckers. So, Oh, Rel, happy birthday, good brother. I know it's your birthday coming up. I think it's either today or tomorrow. It's coming up though.
And
Happy
happy
birthday.
belated to Marcus if he's still in.
Happy
If Marcus,
belated be for Barkis.
happy belated.
Yep. All right, guys. Talk to you.